If you'd rather reorganize your closet for the third time this month and show up to a birthday party, you're not broken. Your brain is just operating on a frequency most people can't even detect. And what society calls antisocial might actually be the most psychologically healthy response to a world that mistakes chaos for connection. Picture this. You get invited to a dinner party. 8 people. Good food, casual vibe. Should be fun, right? Except your nervous system just activated like you're preparing for a hostage negotiation. Not because you hate the people, but because your brain already mapped out the entire evening. The small talk you'll have to manufacture, the energy you'll have to perform, the recovery time you'll need afterwards. And decided this 2-hour commitment requires a 3-day recovery period. You're not dramatic, you're not damaged, and you're definitely not the only one. Your psychology is just wired differently, and it's time we stop treating that like a problem that needs fixing. Let me break down what's actually happening in that beautifully complicated brain of yours. Number 1, your nervous system is basically a forensic scientist. Most people walk through life with their awareness set to scan and forget. They enter a room, clock the general vibe, and move on. Your brain? It's documenting everything like it's collecting evidence for a case that doesn't exist yet. The conversation happening 3 tables over. The person who laughed just a half second too late. The subtle tension between those 2 people in the corner who definitely had an argument before arriving. That flickering overhead light that nobody else seems to notice, but is slowly dismantling your sanity. Psychologists call this sensory processing sensitivity, a trait affecting roughly 15 to 20% of the population. Your nervous system doesn't filter, it amplifies. Every sound, every movement, every shift in energy gets processed at full volume with zero buffering. Research from Stony Brook University shows that highly sensitive people have increased activity in brain regions associated with awareness and empathy. Translation: your brain isn't overreacting, it's responding accurately to stimuli others are physiologically equipped to ignore. While everyone else is experiencing life in standard definition, you're stuck with 4K, Ultra HD, surround sound, director's cut with commentary you never requested, and there's no volume control. Number 2, you're not avoiding people, you're avoiding the performance. Here's the truth nobody talks about. Most social gatherings aren't about connection, they're about theater. Everyone's performing their "I'm totally fine and definitely not falling apart" routine, and you're stuck watching a show you never bought tickets for. The problem isn't that you can't participate, it's that you can see the script everyone's reading from, and your brain refuses to pretend it's spontaneous. You notice when someone asks, "How are you?" but doesn't pause long enough to hear the answer. You catch the micro-expressions that contradict the words. You sense the exhaustion people are masking with enthusiasm. And it's not because you're judgmental, it's because your brain has what researchers call high perceptual sensitivity. You're reading the emotional subtext of every interaction while simultaneously trying to manage your own presence in the space. It's like trying to have a conversation while also translating it into 3 different languages in real time. Studies from the University of California found that people who prefer smaller social circles demonstrate higher emotional intelligence and deeper relationship satisfaction. You're not antisocial, you're selectively social. You'd rather have one conversation that matters than 50 interactions that evaporate the moment they end. Your brain craves substance. And when forced to survive on small talk, it experiences something similar to nutritional deficiency. You're capable of discussing the weather, sure, but asking you to find that fulfilling is like asking a chef to get excited about gas station sandwiches. Number 3, your dopamine system runs on a completely different operating system. Here's where the neuroscience gets fascinating. When extroverts enter social situations, their brains release dopamine, the reward chemical that makes them feel alive, energized, ready to conquer the world. Your brain? Windows shutdown sound. Instead of dopamine, your nervous system runs primarily on acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that rewards introspection, deep focus, and solitary activities. It's not that social interaction doesn't reward you, it's that your brain gets its high from completely different sources. An afternoon spent reading uninterrupted. A solo walk where nobody asks where you're going or when you'll be back. Sitting in your car for 20 minutes after arriving home because you need a buffer between the world and your sanctuary. These aren't avoidance behaviors. These are your brain accessing its natural reward system. Neuroscientist Dr. Marty Olson-Laney found that introverted brains have longer neural pathways for processing stimuli, requiring more internal reflection to reach conclusions. What looks like overthinking is actually your brain's natural processing speed, thorough, complex, pattern-seeking. While extroverts need external stimulation to feel fully alive, you need internal space to access your full cognitive capacity. You're not being difficult, you're being optimal. Number 4. You're absorbing everyone's emotional frequency whether you want to or not. Ever notice how you can walk into a room and immediately sense something's wrong, even when everyone's smiling? That's because your brain has mirror neurons operating at maximum sensitivity. You don't just observe emotions, you experience them secondhand. Spend 2 hours at a family gathering, and you're not just managing your own feelings, you're accidentally downloading everyone else's anxiety, frustration, joy, and unresolved tension like some kind of emotional hard drive nobody asked to be. Researchers call this affective empathy, and for highly sensitive people, it's not optional. Your nervous system is literally wired to pick up on and internalize the emotional states of people around you. One person's stress becomes your stress. Someone else's conflict becomes your mental background noise. No wonder you need 48 hours to recover from a 3-hour event. You're not being weak. You're processing the emotional data of everyone you encountered while also trying to remember who you actually are underneath all that absorbed energy. But here's what makes this brutal trait secretly powerful. This makes you one of the most emotionally intelligent people in any space. You understand what's not being said. You sense what people need before they articulate it. You read between the lines while most people struggle to read the lines themselves. That's not a flaw. That's a superpower most people would collapse under. Number 5. You discovered what most people spend their entire lives running from. Society loves to equate socially active with emotionally healthy. If you're not at every event, maintaining dozens of friendships, constantly surrounded by people, you're supposedly missing out on life. But here's what you figured out that they haven't. Silence isn't empty. It's where you actually hear yourself think. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's where you remember who you are when you're not performing for an audience. You're not avoiding life. You're refusing to participate in a version of life that requires you to constantly deplete yourself to prove you're okay. You understand something profound that our noise-obsessed culture keeps missing. The depth you're looking for doesn't live in crowded rooms. It lives in quiet moments where truth has space to breathe. Your peace isn't isolation, it's intentional, and that's exactly what makes you fascinating. So the next time someone asks why you don't go out more, just remember, they're really asking why you won't exhaust yourself trying to fit into spaces designed for a completely different nervous system. You're not broken, you're not boring, you're not missing out. You're just built for depth in a world that mistakes volume for value. Now tell me, are you team I thrive in crowds or team I'd rather have a root canal than attend a networking event? Drop it in the comments. Let's find our people. And if this resonated, make sure you subscribe to the channel because the next video explores the psychology of people who don't obsess over celebrity drama and why that says more about your intelligence than you think. It's going to feel uncomfortably accurate. Click it now.